Welcome to part 2 of the fuel injector refurbishment for our 1988 BMW 325i E30. If you recall, in the first video, I found that one of the injectors was bad, which I believe was the cause of the engine missing. So I went on eBay and I ordered a used injector that worked, and this video will show that injector getting installed in the engine and everything put back together. Here is the injector I got from eBay, 20 bucks. Here I'm removing the filter. I have a little tool to do that. Keep screwing that tool in and it pulls the filter out. You could use a screw to do that if you wanted. After popping the filter out, the next step is to pull off the O-ring. They come off pretty easily. The yellow cap was really difficult to remove, but I went ahead and just used a flat blade screwdriver and pried it off until it went flying across the garage. I guess it's a good thing that they don't come off easily. You wouldn't want it to drop down into the valve intake manifold. There it goes. Now I remove the rubber O-ring and the spacer, and then we have a stripped fuel injector. Went ahead and hooked up. The red is to the positive side. As I mentioned, there's a little plus mark there. Hooked up two wires, red and black. So red went to the positive terminal on a battery, and the black only tapped that end on the battery, on the negative terminal of the battery. If you were to hold it down, you'd wreck the injector, but you just tap it and that injector will click and try to squirt if there's liquid coming in. I hooked up to my can of carb cleaner. All right, now it's time to squirt and tap. Squirt the can, tap the battery, negative terminal, see if it works. See water, it's like my little hose clamp's a little loose. As I'm tapping, you can see fuel squirting out of the injector. So that tells me this injector I got from eBay works. Next, I'll go ahead and get the filter, new filter, and new O-rings and spacer, put it all back together. Put on the O-ring and then the filter. And I got that piece of wood so that I could press the filter in. I wanted to press against something kind of soft. I didn't want to damage it. And I just pressed it good and hard till it's seated all the way down. Now I go to the bottom, install the spacer, install the O-ring, and then the plastic cap. And I use that same piece of wood to kind of press down until it clicked in place where I knew it was fully seated. Now the injector is done with the refit. Time to put a little lubrication on one end and go ahead and slide it into the injector rail, the fuel rail. And add the little clip that holds it in place. So I went ahead and lubricated the bottom O-rings on all 6 of these. This is what the ports look like. Pretty dirty. So I got a vacuum, hooked it to a hose, vacuumed both inside the valve hole in case anything fell in there, and on the outside. And then I cleaned them up with some engine cleaner. Did a little video inside the ports just to make sure nothing dropped in there. Everything looked good. So now it's time to slide the injector rail, the fuel rail, back into the engine. Just wanted to get these cables out of the way, and there's a hose there. You can't really see it on the left. The breather hose that goes to the valve cover. That thing needs to be pulled over the top of the rail as you put the rail in. Otherwise, you can't get it in right. It's a bit of a tight space to work in. So once I got the fuel rail in place and I was sure that all 6 of the fuel injectors were ready to be seated, as you can see here, you can still see the blue O-ring. Then I went ahead and reached in and gently and firmly pulled down, and it slid right in, no problem. And I could tell that everything was down where it needed to be because the holes in the fuel rail lined up with the holes in the engine. Now it's time to torque the fuel rail to 7 foot-pounds. Now I'm starting to plug in the injectors. And the coolant temperature sensors. That blue one goes to the computer, and the orange one goes to the gauge. Now I'm connecting the fuel line. Here I installed the gasket for the valve cover, just making sure the gasket's seated, and then the valve cover. Once the valve cover is on, there's 8 nuts holding it. I had to use a wrench on a couple of the nuts. The socket wouldn't reach them. Those are 11 foot-pound torque. Here I'm putting the bracket back on that goes between the valve cover and the intake manifold. Here I'm putting the breather tube on. And the spark plug wire rail. Now it's time to light it up. Connect the battery. Start the car. Cranked for about 15 to 20 seconds to fill the fuel rail. Started up nicely, ran great. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.